Here they go into the back. The blue light on. We have a race, and Satnova's beaten Pure Steel out by a length and a half.
Welcome to Talking Trots, hosted by Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
The sensational Sydney sider, Seals to Sam, comes off the back straight. He's a bucket load of alliteration, this fellow.
Scott Bomber Hill will join the boys to look at the Friday night meeting at Gloucester Park. Scott will find the winners for the weekend's racing.
Here comes Quinny. I'm the mighty Queen is 4 deep and letting go.
Sit back and enjoy Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
I'm the mighty Queen is just in front. Dasher VC can do no more. And the West Australian champion has done it again.
Yes, hello and welcome to another big edition of Talking Trots, and what a week we've got coming up. Leading into the Nullarbor, we had the Bunbury Cup on Saturday night. I think it posed a few more questions than it actually answered, but certainly going to the Nullarbor in a couple of weeks, racing is really hotting up, and certainly the case at Gloucester Park on Friday night. Now, if you follow Glen Mortimer on Twitter, you know he's on his annual sojourn to Moore River. There's no cranky grandma around, but Morts is enjoying his Swan Lager. Not his Swan Lager, I should say his Foster's up there at Moore River, and can't be here. So off the bench is the one and only Glen Moore. Silky, welcome to the program. Thanks for filling in.
That's okay.
It's the first time we've done the show together.
Exactly. You two are normally away, and I've got the honour of coming in. And fortunately, what a big week it is to come into, and some exciting racing Friday night. The free-for-all Rads is an absolute ripper, but the whole card has got interest all the way through, and we've got a early start, 4:17, and first three races Sky 2 as a trial for daylight saving into the future. It'll be interesting to see how that all goes, and we've got a very special guest in Justin Prentice to come up.
We sure do, and we'll talk about the early start in a little bit after Justin, but as we said, that free-for-all is, tell you what,
yep.
These free-for-all races, they've been like the Pinjarra Cup into the Bunbury Cup, now intro in going into the Nullarbor.
Yes.
And the Governor's Cup now is going to play a big part, because also you got the ratings for the Fremantle Cup coming out early next week.
Yeah, coming out Monday, and look, we had to be patient with the free-for-allers. We knew because of the change of the season, the free-for-alls would come good, and boy have they come good. That's sensational. This race on Friday night's worthy of a pacing cup in itself, and so much pressure with the rankings coming up on Monday, the 8th of April. That'll be covered by Tim Walker, I think, on the Monday, hopefully, into the trotting show after that with Matt Young. Very exciting times, and really, when you look at the speed map for this free-for-all tomorrow night, and we're going to be talking to Justin about it, it throws up a lot of scenarios.
It sure does. It's a fantastic race. The betting market reflects that, with a $4.20 favourite in Labrador Joe. And normally we pay a winning race of the guests that we're coming in, but because we've had the Nullarbor and the Bunbury Cup last week into this week, we thought we'd play the Bunbury Cup because it's so important into what we're going to discuss with our guest Justin Prentice. So let's go back to Saturday night and listen to the 2024 Bunbury Cup, which was won by Jumpin' Jack Mac.
Never Ending was not shaken off. It's a half length away. Mighty Ronaldo sweats on the run. Coming up wider on the track, Jumping Jack Mac, and they were ahead of them by Valentine's Brook. Into the straight. Here we go. In front, Swing Band. Never Ending. Jumping Jack Mac. Coming up the inside, Mighty Ronaldo. Jumping Jack Mac over the top of them. Jumping Jack Mac wins the Bunbury Cup. Second, nearly a dead heat. Swing Band.
Yeah, Jumping Jack Mac getting the cash over the Penny Tiger, who swept right up the sprint lane. Swing Band, Mighty Ronaldo and Never Ending weren't too far away for trainer Justin Prentice, but it was a race that points to tomorrow night's race at Gloucester Park, and also heading towards the Nullarbor. And our guest tonight is Justin Prentice. Justin, welcome to the program.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks for having me.
Mate, first of all, how did both your charges pull up Never Ending and Mighty Ronaldo? First up with Never Ending.
Yeah, he seems to have come through the run well. We weren't disappointed with the run at all. We sort of didn't really have the mindset leading into the race to sort of want to drive him like that. Junior just sort of felt with the speed of the race at the time, we had to sort of put him into it. So we thought, like with the way he steered, sort of Junior sort of felt like, it cost him a fair bit, and he may not have won the race, but he probably would have finished a hell of a lot closer, and in the end he didn't get beaten too far as it was. So first go against that grade, we always know that they sort of improve when the more racing they have in that sort of class of field. So hopefully it really tightens him up and benefits him going forward.
Justin, just looking at the race with Jumping Jack Mac working to the breeze, probably thinking that Laverageau would be the one to go. The pace did slacken off. I guess that the temptation there was for Junior to pop. I could understand that in the run. And, of course, they might have gone pretty slow through the rest of the journey had he had not done that. Was at that stage, were you sort of shocked that he made the move, or were you sort of circumspect about it, considering you could see the pace was going off? And the other factor with that is maybe the fact that he is hanging down quite a bit. Is that another factor maybe in Junior's mind? You would have discussed it, no doubt, as to why he wanted to get around them at an opportune time rather than be pushed off the track wide. We know he's got the speed.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to Junior about that really. I sort of did consider that, whether he was worried about having to come wider. Personally think that he's probably better off coming even if he's wider, but just with sort of one run, that he would probably steer a little bit better the more time he has, with the speed on, sort of with no horse to follow, the more time he has to think about it. I think it was sort of, I guess we were sort of going into the race thinking that we probably weren't going to be favourite and we didn't need to drive him like the favourite. But, Junior's in a tough position where he wants to try and do the right thing by the horse. But I guess, he's still got to drive to try and win for the punters when he's favourite. So
Sure.
I guess that's, he just felt at the time that he had to move, and I think he had sort of settled quite well. And, I was sort of hoping that Laverageau would move and we didn't have to, and we could sort of sit him up and sort of try and run home like Laverageau did. But hopefully in the long term, it can be beneficial for him.
What about the gear changes? You alluded to some gear changes. I think you've got a pole near side and a Murphy blind. Are you tempted to play around with that?
Yeah, we're probably going to just take that off. Didn't do anything in the race. Obviously, the different pressures of the race, really happy with the way he worked in them at home. Whether that was the different pressures of the race or whether it's just sort of, he's pretty smart. Generally, when you try something on him, it works once or twice, and then he sort of figures out a way that you just do it anyway. So, we're tossing up whether to sort of go back to the box. Probably work in tomorrow and see how he goes and sort of make that call. But we did put the blocks on it originally because he was sort of firing up when he would lead, and we thought if we blocked him up and he can't see, maybe he'd settle a little bit better. And we did actually sort of think that did work to some degree until the Derby come around. But I guess we're sort of taking that off, just one run, first time over 2,500. So, he likes to sort of try and anticipate things, and I think he probably got his laps mixed up. I think that's probably something that we'll look into, putting the blocks back on, and it's got to the stage where the steering's kind of become a bigger problem than over racing. So hopefully this time he seems a little bit more, or quite a bit more settled. So hopefully the blocks don't fire him up again.
Oh yeah.
It was a good learning curve for him. Is that why you wanted to go to the Bunbury Cup rather than probably take on an easier race at Gloucester Park on the Friday?
I guess we'd sort of had the discussion that I thought that potentially the Bunbury Cup could, as silly as it sounds, be an easier race for him, driving in quiet, not being expected to win, sort of driving in like the forgotten horse, rather than going to Gloucester Park in a race where, Hoppy's Way leads walks the lead time and then makes it a 1,200 metre sprint, and he's got to sit parked and sort of try and run him down over 3 quick quarters. But yeah, that probably didn't really go to plan with the way the Bunbury Cup ran, sort of with the draws, and he then ended up being favourite anyway.
Yeah, he did. And Mighty Ronaldo, the other runner you've got in Friday night, drawn 1, to the eye looked a bit disappointing. I'm sure you'd agree with that. And normally I would have thought in running this is the one to beat, and on his best form I think he would have been the one to beat. Have you been able to put your finger on anything after the race in the Bunbury Cup?
No, I haven't. I've ran bloods and they're all good. He's, ate well, looks well. Anything sort of that was different on the night is he really sweated up before the race. Really lathered up in the prelim when I went down to watch the race, and I'd noticed walking around behind the mobile how much he'd sweated up, and that's really not like him at all. So we're not sure whether he was just, off that night and, he wasn't feeling quite right or something, because he sort of just didn't seem himself. You'd expect him to be extremely hard to beat with that sort of run. Emily drove a great race to get him into that position, and, he's been hindered with a lot of bad draws in good races, and unfortunately he got a good one and wasn't able to capitalise on it. But yeah, everything sort of suggests that he's okay, and his form leading into that race, I thought he's probably going the best he's ever gone.
Yeah. Given the circumstances of that run, drawn 1 and Tricky Mickey 3 tomorrow night, do you view it that Tricky Mickey might be the one better placed to get the lead and take the pressure from Laverajo, Minstrel, Tenzing, Bromack, that type of scenario?
Yeah, I think so. Tricky Mickey's got really good gate speed. Sort of saw that from barrier 3 in the Nugget, and so yeah, I think both of them will come out, and then it'll just be left to the drivers to sort of make that decision out there. What they do, but both of them have good gate speed. I would suggest Tricky Mickey's is probably just a bit better, and yeah, he's he showed that he can sort of lead, cop pressure in the Nugget, and that was over 2,500, and he over-raced and still sort of had that really good kick on him. So I'd expect over 2,100, to be able to, if he could find the front, then, he should run a really good race against a super field.
Well, you've got Never Ending already into the Nullarbor with the Ladbrokes slot, and you've got two, very good free-for-allers in Mighty Ronaldo and Tricky Mickey. Does tomorrow night dictate who you think takes your slot into the Nullarbor?
Yeah, obviously depends on, things in running, but you'd imagine that they've, both got an opportunity to put their best foot forward and sort of suggest, which one is going to be the best choice for us to give us the best chance in the race. So yeah, I think tomorrow night's going to definitely be a big deciding factor.
You know what's going to happen, JP? The Bunbury Cup, you thought there was going to be a bit of speed on, and there's no speed on, and tomorrow night you look like you got the leader and possibly behind the leader, and there's going to be plenty of pressure.
Yep.
because there's horses there that like to go forward. It's always the way. when you want pressure on, it's never there, and when you don't want it, it's always there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's quite often the races where you sort of think that there isn't any speed on early, and you're going to struggle to get into it, and then something happens, and but when you draw well and you want to sort of be up the front, it always makes it difficult. But at least they both got good gate speed anyway to put themselves into the right position. So from no barrier draws, you can't complain. So
no, and also Justin Tricky Mickey would have given you encouragement the way it led and won the Nugget and won very easily. But I know its own age group, but very impressive. So it's a very effective horse in front, and also very versatile at the same time. It's ranked number 6 in the rankings, Ronaldo 10 for the Fremantle Cup. These rankings will be reassessed on Monday, but you're sitting comfortably in those spots at the moment, 6 and 10. So that gives you some encouragement that they're a chance of getting in.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, would love to be able to get them both in. I think they're going well enough. Ronaldo's got the runs on the board for a long period, and he got a lot of bad draws last campaign. I think he got 9 in the Pacing Cup, 9 in the Nullarbor, and it's pretty difficult for any horse to figure from those draws, especially with the way he's got to be driven. But he's done it before in big races with the right run. So I think hopefully both of them can keep that place in the Freo Cup, and obviously one of them's probably going to be in the Nullarbor, and then hopefully they can both go around in the Freo Cup for sure.
So with the ranking coming out Monday, and then we've got 2 more free-for-alls, I think, prior to the slot race and then the Fremantle Cup. Would your intention be to butter these horses up? Never Ending is in, I think, the $100,000 4-year-old Westbred next week. So that's his assignment, I assume. But these other 2, would your intention be, depending on performance, to butter them up?
Ideally not. Probably maybe whoever doesn't go in the Nullarbor maybe might back up and then have a fortnight for the Fremantle Cup. Whoever's in the Nullarbor, I'd probably like to have a fortnight between races for them. So, that's probably, see how they go this week. And then sort of make that call on the Nullarbor, and then make the decision whether we race that other horse next week and then we have a fortnight for the Freo Cup, or whether we just sort of go the Nullarbor night and the consolation or whatever, and then back up the week after in the Freo Cup.
Yep, and Never Ending next week, isn't it? 4-year-old Westbred.
Yeah, he's got his 4-year-old Westbred $100,000 race, so we can't knock that back.
No, not at all.
Now, mate, before I ask you about the Trots horse, I didn't actually say I was going to ask you about this, but Rolling Fire, who myself and Mort's have got a share in,
yes.
he fibrillated at his last start. Can you give an update on where he's at?
Yeah, he's back hobbling now. We sort of ran some bloods on him. The good thing is his heart was back regulated by the time the vet come back and rechecked it after we'd hosed him down, which is a good sign that it's come back so quick. And it's been sort of had an ECG done, and that's all clear. And we did run some bloods, and he was a bit crook. So we think that it's probably explains. It's good that we found the issue of why he did it. He had an easy time with it. Got over that, and he's back in full work now, and he's got to do a trial, so he'll probably have a trial in sort of 2 to 3 weeks.
Sometimes these issues can go back into rhythm without any sort of artificial help too, can't they? They can just be an incident that never occurs again.
Yeah, and the fact that it went back so quick is always a good sign. I've hardly had one ever go back that quick. So it was sort of really good to hear that.
For sure.
And they all said he was back to normal, and he come home and he seemed well in himself, but obviously his bloods were just a bit off, which can be the cause of causing him to fibrillate. So hopefully we can get him back on track and get him back into the form that he was in.
All right, mate, and quickly, you're active at the sales, and interestingly, your 3 big guns, Never Ending, Mighty Ronaldo, Tricky Mickey, you're all bought out of the Perth sales and have bought through. You're active again at the sales this year. Probably spent a little bit more than you wanted on individual horses, but you got the horses that you wanted. And one of those was a colt by American Ideal out of Cooper's Beach, who you've sold 65% to your own owners, but Trotsind has taken 35% of this fellow, and we're about to release it. Obviously, we've got to go through more regulatory stuff before we release our syndicates, but we've got the remaining 35% to sell. And I'll tell you what, Justin, he was a cracking colt at the sales, and I'm tipping you're glad you secured him.
really happy with the 2 colts I purchased, and this guy being a brother to Mickey's Beach, who, you know, I've had a lot of trouble with, but he always had, you know, a really big motor and plenty of ability, and he's sort of shown that with the short career he's had, and you know, he wasn't probably the nicest put together horse. Mickey's Beach, he's probably one that I bought more on breeding than type, and this guy really had sort of everything. He had the type to go with the page, and being a son of American Ideal, you know, it's, you know, a really, you know, good thing as well, like really positive thing to, you know, have a full sister as well. It's had sort of 1 start for 1 win out of that mare, so it shows that the cross works, and yeah, he was just a really nice type of a horse, and sort of have a really good nature as well. Unlike Mickey's Beach, is a bit of a handful to handle, and it's been a lot of hard work. So hopefully this guy doesn't cause me as many headaches, but hopefully he's got as much ability.
Do you like to keep him as a colt, Justin, or would prefer to geld these horses?
Yeah, generally I get them gelded. I mean, I usually give them a prep, and unless whoever's broken them in has said, look, they're a real handful, or if they come down to the adjustment and they're sort of really carrying on, that I think they're going to be hard work when they come in, and, you know, we get them gelded. But generally, I'll give them a prep as a colt, and sort of see how they are.
Well, we're selling 2.5% shares of him, and there's only 35% of him to actually sell. So there's only about 14 shares in him, and already 4 or 5 have gone. So he's to people that are already registered, and I'll let people know how they do that. But we've also got a filly who we're selling 50% of, and Justin actually bred this with Jacqueline, this filly, and we're selling 2.5% shares of her. So it's actually, you can get in for as little as you want, or you can buy multiple shares with us as well. But this filly, Justin, she's an outstanding filly by Always Be Mickey, who's just sweeping all before him at the moment, out of no less than Perfect, whose half brother's going very well at the moment for Team Bond.
Yeah, she was a really nice filly. She didn't sort of quite make the reserve on the day, but obviously, Trots didn't come along, and we're able to pick her up for that reserve price, and we're really, really happy with, her as a type. She was a later foal, like 10 to the dozen was, but probably a little bit nicer type at the same age, and being a Mickey, I really love the Mickeys, and Jacqueline obviously done all the work with her, and she's matured a lot. Come through the prep, and we both really liked it. Happy to be able to bring her home and try.
Yeah, well, we're really happy to be part of both those, the filly and the colt, and we're offering 2.5% shares in both. Justin, thanks for your time. You're starting to drop out, so I'll let you go. Mate, good luck tomorrow night. We'll see you at the track, and no doubt it's a big couple of weeks leading from tomorrow night leading to the Nullarbor and also the Fremantle Cup. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks for coming on, Justin.
There we go, Justin Prentice. And those Trots in horses, and I tell you what, Glen Mortimer and Ross Fitzgerald have got their shares.
Yes.
So if you want to win,
it's a good luck charm.
You need to be with these two fellas. So we're selling as little as 2.5% shares in both those. You can contact us at Gloucester Park at info@gloucesterpark.com.au, email, or just give Gloucester Park a call. Just Google us and you'll be able to find the number, and we'll be able to put you in the right direction. But we haven't released the shares yet. We're just getting everything registered through ASIC and RAWA and all the regular stuff we need to do. So we get audited and everything. And I tell you what, we bought 2 colts last year, one in Perth, one in Sydney. Neither of them hit the track yet, but Justin,
pretty happy.
The reports here really good.
Well, even this one, 10 to the dozen with the gate speed and the manners and all that. It's pretty encouraging, that breed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think they'll, like the Always Be Mickey fella, just keep on improving.
Yeah, they get stronger.
Yeah, and the American Ideal, geez, what a size he's been.
Well, it's magnificent. They've got a lot of speed, those horses.
Haven't they? And every age group.
Yeah, no, they go on. Yeah, no, you don't have to sell me on the American Ideals. They're very good.
They're certainly. Well, you've had a couple.
Yeah, and we Always Be Mickey too. We've had a bit of luck there as well.
Yeah. Trots in, we're going to be hard because it was so hard to go and get the horses that we wanted to in full.
Yep.
But we just want to make sure that people will be able to get access to owning shares in these really good quality
Well,
horses.
it's working out well for the owners. It's giving them a great experience.
Yeah.
And your track record's very good, so I'd encourage people to invest.
Yeah, we've got plenty of people interested in both those and ready to go. And there might even be, as we had Harness the Dream coming through, so we're working on making sure that we might be able to give away a share in each of them as well. So going forward, working on that with Rawood, maybe on the Westbred night, the new big Westbred night with these Westbred.
Going to be a big night.
Yeah. Now we mentioned at the start, early start, 4:17, going back in. The first couple of races are on Sky 2, but saying that the last couple of races go in late at night into the east.
They do.
It's a 1 week trial to start with daylight saving kicking in afterwards, but no doubt we'll trial it also towards the end of the year around October, when daylight savings kicks in again.
Yep. Would it be worth doing it in winter when the weather's a bit inclement?
We might be able to get on a touch earlier anyway.
Yeah, you might be able to get on earlier. That's the key, isn't it?
But just the 3 hour difference in daylight savings is the killer.
Absolute
like
killer.
that extra hour, and like being over New Zealand watching the races.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
Because you talk to the Kiwis, they do watch Gloucester Park and bet on it. They love it because there's so many Kiwis here as well.
Yeah.
But they really watch it and love the racing. So going in there though, like race 5 is like it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, any time after midnight gets a bit dicey for the wagering.
Yeah. So, but this mainly aimed at the East Coast, obviously.
Absolutely.
But going back in early. Obviously, Sky 2's not as good as Sky 1 by about 40%, but weighing that up as opposed to going back in late at night is what we've got to do, and it's a one-off to start with.
Yep. But
it's got to give you a line on the last couple of weeks and into next week, and then obviously in October they can do more tests as well when daylight savings kick back in over East. But it's certainly like Cameron Brown's doing a really good job.
Yep.
As harness manager, and we're starting to see more information come out as well.
Absolutely.
Around the field numbers and all that, and starting to be a bit more.
Well, the field numbers, with that transition because of the change of seasons, was around 7.6. He's got it up to 10 with the divided races and swapping things around a little bit. That's a big increase in numbers if you get up to average 10 to a race, and we're filling the fields better. Good for turnover, and of course, make sure you get those 10 races. And 11 tomorrow night, obviously, but if we get 10 races, that's pretty good. And like I think Cameron referred to it, the conditioned races and the divided races, they were brought in as a stopgap, really, to be able to get these fields together, and that might transition back to, with full numbers, back to the, say, conditioned free-for-all level 14, if you've got enough free-for-allers, and I think we will have, as the 4-year-olds start coming through, the free-for-all fields will fill up, and then you'll need that condition race. So you might need less divided races. But look, I encourage what Cameron's doing is trying new stuff, and you have to try it to see if it works. So I'd encourage all these changes for sure. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be really good, and also for the participants a little bit early as well, getting in and getting home. Early special at Gloucester Park, maybe. Maybe get in there. If early you're there, bird special. If you're there, we'll definitely do it. And actually, race 1's named after Terry Gaunt, Gaunt. Terry's a member of Gloucester Park who passed away the week before. And Terry was a member of, he's been in a few Trots In horses. He's actually named Blazeway for us. Oh, right. Was an active member in Trots In, was a really nice member. Was he, is that the Gaunt family cricket or nothing to do? I'm not sure. No. Was a big person around Maylands and sailing and stuff like that. Yeah, okay. Had a great history there. Really nice fella Terry. Our condolences go out to Pam and the family. But you could see him there every Friday night at Gloucester Park in the members. With the team and a lot of people that bought shares in Trots End. Yeah, they sat together. And, for sure. Yeah, the team and nice. So I was really sad when I heard about the news about Terry. Really took an interest. He loved the horses he had an interest in. Even so much so when we had Dreamwalker and we leased him out, he'd still go and watch him. Oh, right. Like, really keen. Yeah, watched him go around Northern when he won for Michael Blakemore. So, right? Turned up that night. So it's always sad to see those guys go passionate. It is, and was a great support. Actually gave, when Blazeway was by Sweet Lou, the Great White Blaze, Yep.
And he was speaking of Woodland. Woodland sent him a couple of coins, Sweet Lou coins.
Really? Yeah.
He actually gave Junior one to drive, to put in his pocket when he drives,
Yep.
and gave one to Justin as well. And Justin, actually, the weekend Terry died, Justin actually had it in his pocket when he was playing golf with Junior.
And got the money?
And they got the money. So
Definitely works.
Yeah. So might have got more help on that occasion. He was
divine intervention.
Really nice fella. So you had a couple. Did you have a couple of things? We've spoken about the early start.
Yep.
We got the rankings coming out, which is obviously obviously the Bunbury Cup, Governors Cup, going to have a big impact on those.
Yep.
And a few free for alls, and then going into obviously the Nullarbor in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, look, just touching on the third of the golden tickets is the Governors Cup Friday night, so that's the last golden ticket. And of course, in the conditions for the rankings for the Fremantle Cup, you get an automatic entry, but the form in the golden ticket race is significant.
Yes, very.
So, for example, Penny Tiger was about 13 or 14. He's run third in the Pinjarra Cup and second in the Bunbury Cup. That will help.
Yeah, certainly will.
But, of course, we get Catch a Wave and Hot and Treacherous coming over.
That's right.
They're currently not in the rankings.
They'll enter the rankings. So this year's Cutthroat Friday night for horses like Tricky Mickey and those type of, which are well and truly entrenched sort of things, but El Capone, Penny Tiger, those type of horses. The 1, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
They're, and even Swing Bands, I think, is around 13.
Yeah, well, he'll
for example, you know, so he ran third in the Bunbury Cup.
Yep.
Third in the Bunbury.
The Mount Eden Sprint.
Mount Eden Sprint ran second.
In that. Yeah.
It wasn't a golden ticket race, but a significant race. Yeah. And then what would have helped him is third in the Bunbury Cup.
Yep.
But I think tomorrow night, look, they're drawn badly. It's going to be difficult for Swing Band to make ground on the rankings. But it doesn't mean that these horses have to butter up again prior to substantiate a spot in those rankings. The rankings will be out on Monday, so we'll know where we are after Friday night. But a really good performance from Swing Band, say, even running top 4 would help that type of horse.
Definitely.
El Capone's drawn 10. Those type of horses need to be around the place Friday night. We've got 4 slots left. Jumping Jack Mac appears to more than likely be the one. I know Gary was very keen on Diego, but Diego's drawn bad Friday night. Diego's spot secure in the Fremantle Cup because he's ranked number 4. He's got great career form. But a slot for Diego, question mark, I guess, unless he jumps out of the ground on Friday night from a bad draw. We don't know what Swan Do are doing yet. They've got their own horses. Will they look at one that doesn't make it, like Tenzing Bromac, Ideal Agent? If they go with Minstrel, do those type of horses get considered? For Swan Do, that's another interesting point. Will Bond go Minstrel? You would imagine so, unless Tenzing Bromac jumps out of the ground. Steno's one that I think Russell Betts threw up after the trial. Does somebody go left field and throw in a Steno being a mare? She most likely go to Queen Elizabeth in Sydney. She'll be well and truly up to that mare standard for sure. But there's a few scenarios to play out in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and the free-for-alls will be significant coming up in the next couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, there's 4 left. I'd imagine all 4 will go with their own horses.
It's probably the logic, but you know, if you get an opportunity to get a horse that's really flying, maybe you take the business-like approach. You know, look, it's not normal that they would do that, but you never know. So, like a horse like Tenzing Bromac, Ideal Agent, they're going okay. Penny Tiger, those type of horses. Diego would be another one that was in last year's slot. So, Pacing Cup winner and Fremantle Cup winner, etc. You know, so yeah, it's interesting.
No, it sure is.
Next week we've got the Westbred 4-year-old races, 2 rads, and that's the fillies and mares 4-year-old $100,000 Westbred.
Yep.
And also the Enties.
Yeah, great addition to the calendar.
Great addition, absolutely. And the Enties and Geldings, $100,000 as well. That'll be never-ending, hotly pursued. Those type of horses, they're going to be Westbred. So they're very significant there. Those races coming up. So we've got jam-packed, full of things coming up.
We sure have. All right, before we go to the break, this segment is brought to you by Steel Blue Boots, built for comfort, made for work, a mark of true skill. View the whole range of premium work boots at steelblue.com. And there's also 700 plus stockists nationwide. And there's also a 100% comfort guarantee backed by a 30-day 100% comfort guarantee. As Mort says every week, you don't need it. All right. Now, one of the horses that's in line for a slot is Sky Lou.
Yeah.
Geez, he's come back well. I know.
He's the left field one.
Talking to Hall, he says probably, or senior, probably the pick of the 4-year-olds, which is a big statement considering.
Yeah, I think that could change weekly in the next few weeks.
I think it's changed weekly with him.
Yeah. Well, in fairness, there's not too much between them, and
he's got 3 or 4 of them that go.
Yeah, they're pretty good, and they're hard to separate. They're different type of horses, but when you look at it, even tomorrow night, it's no gimme drawn outside Mickey's Jet.
Yeah,
drawn 1, and Junior's.
It's got to be a good test.
A very good test, and it's a pretty good field. But yeah, time will tell whether he. I think he matures. Look, we're sort of favouring let him mature later in the year. You've got the Nugget, the 4-year-old races, and if he's going well enough, you could look at a Pacing Cup if he's going well enough. But Senior hasn't given up on Sky Lou. He's a big rap on him, and he's got in the back of his mind. But the way Jumping Jack Mac went the Bunbury Cup, I think he sealed the fate of Sky Lou there.
Well, he raced in the Easter Cup last week against the older horses.
He did.
Strumped Jake to the front.
Yep.
Easy
watch.
Gave nothing else a chance. As we go to break, let's listen to Sky Lou winning the Garrards Horse and Hound Easter Cup.
Franco Mecca, Bricky's Dream, Luca out wider. They were followed by Feeling Aces, Arden's Horizon, Skippy's Delight as last. They move to the home turn. It's Blue and Gold. It's Sky Lou, and I'm the Black Flash. They corner with Sky Lou, 3/4, and I'm the Black Flash. Franco Mecca, Bricky's Dream, Feeling Aces out wider, Arden's Horizon. But Sky Lou at his first start back makes a statement for his 4-year-old campaign. He leads all the way. Favourite home, Sky Lou from I'm the Black Flash.
There's always a lot more in store for you at Retrovision. Like Retrovision's lowest price guarantee. If you find a lower price on a same-stocked item, we'll beat it. There's our 60-day price promise, where we'll refund you 120% of the difference if you find a lower advertised price on any purchase. Plus, RAC members save an extra 5% every day of the year. After 60 years, a lot has changed, but there's still a lot more in store at Retrovision.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Way, a metre Finvara from the 1-1. I'm a 5-star general. The Mickey Takers peeling off his back, and out wider is coming to the turn. Blitzen by No Run October Rain behind the lead of Hoppy's Way, trying to dig as Finvara. I'm a 5-star general, and the Mickey Taker closing in. Hoppy's Way joined by I'm a 5-star general and the Mickey Taker, and they go to the line. Oh, not sure. The Mickey Takers dived, and I'm a 5-star general, and he dived at Hoppy's Way.
He got there, the Mickey Taker. Aidan de Campo timed his run to perfection to get I'm a 5-star general, who claimed Hoppy's Way, and what a great finish. Glenn, geez, this horse is going well.
Yeah, and Aidan's driving extremely well, isn't he?
Isn't he? He's got so much depth, this horse, yet he's got that turn of speed as well. He's got a couple of strings to his bow.
Absolutely. You took the words out of my mouth. We always thought he was a little bit on the one-pace side, but all of a sudden the penny's starting to drop with this horse, and he's got a nice turn of foot and plenty of depth. So the races are run fast. He's running on.
Hard not to be a fan of this horse. He's won 12 out of 33 with 12 minors.
Yep.
And just over the 200,000 in prize money.
He's done a big job.
Fantastic.
He's not a fashionable-looking horse in terms of, but he's workmanlike, and he's a winner.
Yep. All right, this segment is brought to you by our good friends at Retrovision. Morts is away on holidays, but doesn't matter. The bargains don't stop with Retrovision, your local WA electrical appliance specialist. RAC members receive an additional 5% every day. Justin Prentice actually had an owners' night at Bunbury on Saturday night. We gave away plenty of Retrovision vouchers.
Beautiful.
They were lining up to get them.
Any pizza ovens?
Well, you could have used your voucher to get a pizza oven.
Yes, of course you could.
And tell you what, they're very good. Michael Young knows all about the pizza oven.
Big rap.
I've got a pizza oven. I used it last weekend.
Sounds too technical for me.
No, they're the easiest thing of all time.
Yeah, right, okay.
Very quick.
I'll just go down to Domino's and get one.
No, you need a pizza oven. You need a pizza oven.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
All right, time to introduce Scott Bomber Hill. Bomber, welcome back. We had a week off. No doubt you're fresh for this week.
Yeah, nice restful weekend last weekend, Rads.
You recovered?
Hardly left the lounge, to be honest. Lots of footy, lots of races, and not much else.
How good are those Bombers? You might have me with the Eagles. I'm a little bit worried. Bit concerned.
I'm very surprised you brought footy up today.
Yeah, I shouldn't have.
He's only just started to get
Rookie
concerned.
mistake.
They won two games in 3 years, and he's only just starting to get concerned.
Yeah, exactly.
I know all about it with the Knights from a couple of years ago. So
I think you got North Melbourne in round 13 or something.
Yeah,
so
thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for that. Look forward to that.
All right, we've got a big 11 race card at Gloucester Park tomorrow night. The first race, the Vale Terry Gaunt, as we spoke about earlier in the program, race number 1, an early start at 4:17. But I tell you what, some really good races. We've got the Gold Bullion coming up for both the Colts and the 3-year-old Colts and Gelding, and the 3-year-old fillies worth $50,000. The Governor's Cup and the Race for the Roses, which is worth $35,000, a listed classic. A really good race night on Friday night. Too, the other races are great as well. As we mentioned, Mickey's Jet versus Sweet Lou. Really good races throughout the program. But the first race we're going to look at is the APG WA Gold Bullion for the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings. And let's have a look at the Tab Touch market. A little bit of movement in this market as well. Menem Shah at 165 was open up tight, got out, and now a little bit more support into 165. Opal Hunter, $26 it opened, $8.50 it's into. Grievous, $19. He's a Vibe, $71. The Little Master, $26. 10 to the dozen. Open $370, got out to $440, back into $350. Gatecrasher, $126. Go Mario, $150. Then you came along outside the front line at $41. And then on the back line, we got Bet the House, who won the heat. There was only one heat. It won the heat. Bet the House, racing virtually the same field at $6. And the first reserve is double the ante. It's currently a 126. We probably won't get a start. Bomber, this is a good field. Barrier draw, really important for these 3-year-olds. There doesn't look to be a real standout, depending on who gets the front and who gets the best run tends to win. Which way are we going in the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings?
Yeah, I'm super keen. This one, Rad's going to open the shoulders nice and early on Menem Shah. He's come back in super form, and the draw ensures, you draw at he's 3 runs back of all insured. He's had to do all the work in those runs, and he gets the plum draw here. I think he's definitely got the gate speed to hold up. He'll hold out the initial challenge of the Bond runners, I think, and he can be the one to benefit from sitting on the pegs this time and letting the others do all the work and try and get around him. He did open pretty short, but I think he's still a touch of value even at that price in this quality field, and there'll be some small market moves. We may get a touch better. I don't think we'll get any worse, and I think he'll just lead and win. I'm super confident. He's come back so well, this horse.
And Bomber too, when you look at 3 weeks nearly between runs or 3 weeks between runs, the 154 one when he set outside 10 to the dozen was a little bit of a tough ask, and Aidan referred to it, that gap between runs on face value is touch off, but put it down to those 3 weeks between runs and the 154 one too. Slow flying, isn't it, for this age group? Over a mile, and his previous form's fantastic, isn't it? And looks the likely leader, I agree. They did bet $1.80, very juicy, I thought, $1.80, and it's still, to me, backable at $1.65.
Yeah, fully agree with that, Glenn. I think, as you said, the $1.80 was a ridiculous price, I think. And I do think the $1.65 is there's still value, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets out even close to that $1.80 again. I could see support for others, and but I just love the way he's come back.
Got to just lock that one in behind him. Bet the house. Don't let it out.
How many units were you betting, Bomber?
We're going 5 units straight up, Brad. So I think he can be our banker for the and get us off to a flying start.
We like confidence early. That's a way to kick it off for us, Bomber. Now, unfortunately, in the 3-year-old fillies, Exceptional Armour is scratched, which means Waterloo, who was 126, is now into 101 after drawing the pole. Hopefully everything's all right with Exceptional Armour. Been a really good filly. Obviously the 2-year-old filly of the year last season. The Swindler also comes out, but it looks like Waterloo will go around prohibitive odds at 101 and looks the winner. The next race we got to look at, though, is the Race for the Roses. This is a stand start, $35,000 for the fillies and mares. We got the Tab Touch market, the brand that funds the industry, Tab Touch. Let's have a look at the market. Jill Mack, $81. Shahidi at $126. Flight of Fame at $17. Coolbadi Navajo at $550. Valhalla Miss, $151. Now they're the 5 runners off the front. Then we got Turn the Page at $260 and favourite in from $320. Flirta Marquee also off the 10 metres at $9, and then 4 runners off the 20 metres. Cyclone Charlotte, $3 into $270 and just behind the favourite, so 10 cents difference there. 3 Rumours at $550 and from $750. Stormy Skies 91 and Block George at $121. The punters have it. 2 favourites have cleared out in favouritism. Turn the Page at $260 and Cyclone Charlotte at $270. Bomber, which way are you going for in the Race for the Roses?
Yeah, like Cyclone Charlotte, she's crying out to win a race, a nice race like this, and I think this can be the one. She's not going to be up there in the early mix at all. It's her first go at the stand, but began safely in the jump out. She's a Kiwi, so they tend to step okay, and I think the longer trip, she's got plenty of strings to her bow, so she's got options. She can sit back if they run along, or she can work around to the breeze. She's done plenty of work in 3 of her last 5 and beaten in very quick last halves, and including horses of Steno and Nullarbor Navajo's calibre. And I think this looks a bit easier than that in recent assignments. And I think her versatility over the 2,500 will come to the fore here. There's a horse in the race that scares me in Coolbadi Navajo, but I think she's very risky at the start. She stood flat-footed in one of the jump outs and first go in very good class, but her point-to-point speed is very, very good. So if she does step, she can be a danger.
A bit of money for Coolbadi Navajo too, a Bomber, $650 in and then drifted back out with support for those other 2 runners, but they're the class horses you're referring to. 3 Rome is another one. Has had plenty of stands early on, has got away occasionally and missed it on other times. Another interesting go forward to the breeze type horse here.
Yeah, she could, if she gets there nice and early, she can be nice and strong, but it could be a little bit messy at the start. There's a few that are untried at the stand, and I thought Cyclone Charlotte, she had jump out was from the pole, which she stepped nice and clean, which is always an advantage, and I think she's just got enough options to put herself into the race at any point, really.
How many units?
2 units. She's a nice enough price, I think,
Yeah, for sure.
Currently $270 with Tab Touch. All right, it's time to take a break. We'll come back and have a look at 2 more races at Gloucester Park. I mentioned Silky, that there was the heats 10 days ago for the bullion races, and pretty much the same field going around.
Yes, well, that's the way it is, isn't it? Yeah. Numbers game, but 11 Waterloo drawing the 1 certainly helped it. And of course, the Colts is a beauty, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Regardless of those same horses going around, that's a tremendous race.
Tendler doesn't lead the heat, but it was got over the top by Bet the House.
Yeah, and it's the one that they're going to be worried about getting that run laid off Menemshire's back. Everybody be aware of it, but sometimes they get out, and if it gets out, it's going to be pelting home. There's a lot of nice horses in that race. If, for some reason, Menemshire does too much work, it could be vulnerable to something coming late.
As we go to the break, let's listen to Bet the House winning the heat of the Gold Bullion, getting over the top at 10 to the dozen.
The track as Deni came along, and also poking through is Bet the House. Deep out is Opal Hunter, who's got a lot to do in the straight they run though, and 10 to the dozen is clear. Up the straight from Bet the House, who's finishing well. 10 to the dozen in front, but Bet the House coming. 10 to the dozen, Bet the House the outside. 10 to the dozen, joint grab by Bet the House, and Bet the House beat 10 to the dozen. Third home on the outside, I think he's...
Hi, I'm Steve Sell from Loans 123. We are car finance specialists. We can help you find the loan you're looking for, your new car, and help find a home for your old one. If you want a new or used car but feel uncomfortable visiting car yards on your own, we can help and often save you money. For a stress-free way of buying and financing your next car, who do you see? Steve Sell at loans123.com.au or call 1800 100 100.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
Might have time, easing 3 wide. A Shiny Girl let go 4 wide, but still giving plenty as Fleur du Marquis on the turn. Turn the page comes up now. Might have time, makes a line of 3. A Shine Girl tries to make a line of 4. Might have time and turn the page, go up to tackle Fleur du Marquis from a Shiny Girl, and it's Might Have Time doing the better, and Might Have Time. Might Have Time has got there to win about a half a length.
She's a good mare, Might Have Time, and I don't think it was a big upset on Friday afternoon, Silky, but she can cause an upset, this mare.
Absolutely, yeah. She had the drop, didn't she, in the run?
Got plenty of speed.
Yeah, I think that early burn, Rock and Roll Sass from memory, got involved with the leader, Fleur du Marquis, and which I had something on, and got absolutely hammered early. And then, of course, it all changed when Rock and Roll Sass did that, because it couldn't get involved, and then the breeze went to the turn the page, and then 1-1 sitting on it Might Have Time. It all changed after that with that early burn. Fleur du Marquis did a big job holding on to run second and nearly pinched it, but she loves that type of run. Might Have Time.
Yep, sure does. All right, this segment is brought to you by Loans 123, Car Loans, Debt Consolidations, all your personal finance. The man to see is the nude nut Stevie Sell at loans123.com.au or 1800 100 100, and they are still doing the things the banks can't. Hopefully we won't need a loan after Friday night, heading into the Roma Cup at Ascot on Saturday, where we get to see Amelia's Jewel come back. Yep. Heading into the Quokka. Good luck to
Ports
all
are
the
good
team
too,
there.
aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big rap on her appearance and the way she's going, apparently.
Yeah.
So if she's any better, they better be watch out.
Yep, indeed. All right, let's get into the next race we got to look at, and this is race number 8. It's Cowden serving since 1972 pace over the 21.30 metres, and we'll have a look at the tab touch market here. We've got Better Move Along at $15, Louis LeBeau at 18, Feeling Asses 15. Here Comes Sharky at 151, Me Flash 41. Greg Army at 31, Allwood Mac at 41, Galaxy Warrior at 12, Mr. Smarty, the short price favourite, at 114. Was a Heat Seeker at 18, 7 No Trump 81. Bomber, I made the mistake when you were away to say to Ollie, well, surely you're not tipping the odds-on favourite here, and well, you're looking for value. And he came up and said, no, I'm tipping the favourite, which Julie saluted, mind you, but surely here we're not tipping Mr. Smarty at the 114.
The bank account's not big enough for $1.14 from shreds. I'm pretty keen the place on Better Move Along from the pole. I thought he could hold up here and ultimately take a sit on the hot pot, Mr. Smarty, when he does come. Last time he was driven similarly over this track and trip, he crossed from barrier 2, took a sit, lead time of 37.4 on that occasion, and then he was under an absolute throttle hold to the line in a 56.7 last half. Last week he sat in the running line when he was behind Mr. Smarty, sat last in the running line, gave him 13 metres start at the 800, and he held that margin in a 56.1 last half despite being one off the pegs. So he gets back to the pegs this time. He's going to be no worse than 3 pegs. I really think he will be leaders back, and you know the times suggest and his current form suggests he'll be able to hold on to the hot pots helmet and fill a hole.
I agree. Bronze tried to cross, Better Move Along. One of those starts and couldn't get across him, and they went quick lead time, 36.5. And I think he's going to do enough to hold up and wait for the favourite.
Yeah, I fully agree, Glenn. And the more I look at it, the better the price looks. I can't see it holding up. He's an underrated horse, this bloke, and whenever he gets a draw, he's always close.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, 240 the place, driven by Mortz's man Trent Wheeler. How many units?
Yeah, definitely a 2-unit bet, Radley. I think he'll start much closer to the even money mark, the place, I think, and yeah, I'm confident enough he'll hold on to the helmet.
All right, 240 the place at the moment. Value for
Pretty
Bomber.
good price.
Heading into race number 8. And the final race we're going to look at, we haven't got a tab touch market for, but it's race number 10. And it is download the tab touch app. And if you haven't done that already, make sure you do. It is the brand that funds the industry. We got a race that market will be very interesting. You've got Queen in the Corner for Ryan Bell and Kyle Symington with Beleza Nera on its immediate side in 3 and 4. Also in the race, you got on the back line Naming Lights. Interesting race number 10. Which way are you going for race number 10 tomorrow night, Bomber?
I'm with Queen in the corner, Rads, and I'm really keen. She had flashing lights all over her there last time, first time for the Ryan Bell camp, and she came off the second line. She's a quick beginner, and she ran through into the 1-1 on that occasion at Bunbury, and then was shuffled back to be fourth last around the 400 metre mark, and she sort of dodged and weaved her way through most of the corner and up the straight, and only really got out in the last 50 metres, ran a 57.5 last half, and she was only beaten 3 metres, and like I said, she only really had 50 metres to extend there, so she's got a really good record in front, and I think there's only one challenger off the arm, and that's Belezanira, which will find it pretty hard to cross from directly next door, and from there she just gets a chance to run along in front for Kyle Symington and Ryan Bell, and I think she'll just lead and win.
I'm with you, Bomber. I think flashing lights at Bunbury as suggested. I think it got out earlier, may have got the money the way it went. It was making really good ground late.
Yeah, she raced in really tight quarters around the turn, and if that gap had have opened up any sooner, I agree, I think she would have won. I'm glad she didn't, because I was on the winner. She was a super run.
Had to go through purgatory to get that result. We'll give you the tip. Captain Bly. It looked in trouble, and then Vauxhorse galloped, and then Junior kept coming, and then all of a sudden it was there. But I had my eye on Queen the Corner of the same race. It was travelling.
Oh yeah, I sort of caught a glimpse of her in the initial watch of the race, and then the more you watch the replay, the more impressive it is. So I think she's the winner.
Sound very confident here. How many units?
Yeah, we're going to book in the 5 units again. We'll go top tail, and I think they'll both win.
Very good.
5 units, all right. Good way to start and finish. 5 units, very confident. Bomber, have you got a multi for us?
Yeah, got 3 pretty short ones. There's only one price up at the moment, but race 6, number 10, More Sass the Place. I think she's as good a thing to run second as Waterloo is of winning, and Waterloo's 100 to 1 on, so we've got getting a bit of value there. And then race 9, number 3, On the Black Flash. I really liked his stand effort last week, and I think he'll work to the top at some point here and win. And then the 2-year-old in the last, in Full Swing Denario, I think he was really impressive on debut, and I think he'll get an easy lead and win there. So 3 pretty short ones, but we should get, touch better than even money for the 3 of them. So that looks a nice multi.
All right, it sure does. Bomber, thank you for your time. Hopefully we've found a few winners for everyone. We'll speak to you next week.
No worries, guys. Thanks very much.
Good on you, Bomber.
Good on you. There we go. Scott Bomber Hill previewing the action tomorrow night at Gloucester Park, and he'll be back next week.
And a very good judge, Bomber.
Isn't he?
Very good.
He's our man. All right. Now, last week, Hall's rolled back into action. He's been very quiet. He's been very quiet, Gary Hall Senior. You would probably know that more than anyone.
It is a patience game.
It is, but he's free-for-allers, his 4-year-olds, they've all sort of rolled back in together, and it was a big night for him.
Yeah, no, it's good to have them back, and look, a bit of patience there with the team to make sure, long term these 3-year-olds turning 4 turn into horses. So hopefully it'll pay us back in the long term, and we've got a bit more ammunition at home to bring in soon. So hopefully we can have a reasonable year.
Each week when you talk to them, it changes the best 4-year-olds. One week it's Skyloo, the next week's Mr. Smarty.
It is a touch confusing because they're different type of horses, aren't they?
Mr. Smarty's got that much speed, apparently, seemingly.
And he can stay.
And Skyloo is...
well, he could be anything, Skyloo. If he continues in the same vein, when you look at him, like he did beat Never Ending, I know he had the right run, but he was impressively beating Never Ending that night off his back. He went straight past him. So at the end of the day, you can put it down to Never Ending's manners to a great extent. We know that. But it takes a good horse to do it. If you looked at the gap to the next batch of horses, Black Flash never got a run flashed, but they're probably 15, 20 metres back. And there were some pretty good horses in that race. Mind you, they had fairly hard runs, some of them, but I think he's got a big rap on that horse. But the Black Flash is another one. Since he's been gelded, he's gone from strength to strength. And Gary's of the opinion that he's more the Chicago Bull grinding, sustained speed type horse long term. And that's what Chicago Bull was. Chicago Bull lacked that absolute turn of foot, but he can run 3 or 4 of those really quick ones, and he very hard horse to beat. And he's putting the Black Flash in that type of category as a type of horse. And so they're all different. So hopefully they put their hands up as we go along for this year.
We've been talking about this crop since they're 2 about how good they are. Never ending and all that. And they just seem to keep on, they've developed together.
Yeah, and it'll be, when they clash, like the Nugget's something we're really going to look forward to the end of the year. And there'll be some new horses coming through. Clearly the Bonds have got Lasaka. We heard Sky talking glowingly this morning with the boys, Tim and Adam this morning, and Diggers. Very glowingly about Lasaka, very confident tomorrow night, but I think she thinks Lasaka, terrific run the other day against Never Ending, hotly pursued. Went forward early, couldn't get there, had to drag all the way back, flashed late off the track. So there's a lot of them that might improve that 5 to 10% that could go to another level.
And I'll tell you what, the New Zealand 4-year-olds are very good, and I think they're going to make the Grins, or the race, in Cambridge. Like the 4-year-olds, Merlin, Don't Stop Dreamin'.
And interestingly, you should say that
Barry's horse.
They've just gone around today, and Merlin's knocked off those 2 horses that you just mentioned, Sooner the Better and Don't Stop Dreaming. He won today.
They're making the race. You take them out of the race, it's nowhere near as good. Like it's got they're making the race over in Cambridge, and this 4-year-old crop, it looks good across the board.
Yeah, all those 3 horses are very good, and Sooner the Better went pretty good in the Miracle Mile. Merlin's untapped potential. He got the lead today, I gather, because it won from Sooner the Better, and the Mark Purdon horse probably breezed, I'd imagine. They ran first, second and third with Merlin getting the money.
All right, let's take a break. Let's listen to Mr. Smarty win last week. He was prohibitive odds last week. He's got to go around the same odds or similar odds this week. As we go to the break, here is Mr. Smarty for Senior and Junior, winning it on Good Friday.
Galaxy Warrior goes through into that spot. Illawong Mustang behind the favourite, who's going well. Mr. Smarty on the corner from Ira Pool. Illawong Mustang, and on the outside, Galaxy Warrior, but turning for home. Mr. Smarty now a length and a half. Ira Pool, Galaxy Warrior, and Illawong Mustang fight out the minor. But Mr. Smarty, 2 classies, 1 a length and a half. Mr. Smarty from
New Mazda.
Yep, I love it. We got it from Bayswater Mazda.
I keep hearing great things about them.
They're fantastic to deal with. Great people, great coffee too.
At Bayswater Mazda, you'll always be well looked after. Visit the team today and find the best drive-away deals on new Mazdas and pre-owned vehicles. Driving is better with Bayswater Mazda.
So's the coffee.
Go and see Bayswater Mazda at the corner of Guildford and Garrett Road, Bayswater. DL 25174.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
Stride right behind them. Raja Rocks 2 lengths to Goggins, then Jobster with Altar. They corner Fat Louie. Atlas the Titan. Raja Rocks tries to make a line of 3. Fat Louie and Atlas the Titan. Stride for stride they go. 3/4 Raja Rocks. Fat Louie fights on. Atlas the Titan tries. Raja Rocks is late, but Fat Louie goes all the way. Fat Louie has beaten either Atlas the Titan or Raja Rocks.
There we go, Fat Louie. That was specially for our man Eddie Birchall.
Wasn't named after Eddie, was it?
No, definitely not.
No, that's good.
Owned by Birchall Bloodstock, Eddie and the team. Good on you. He seemed very happy on social media when Fat Louie got the cash by Sweet Leo out of Thin Lizzy, well named obviously, and Junior combining with the powerful Michael Young team.
And ran some time too, 156.5. Pretty good for maidens.
Yeah, very good.
Pretty good field, that. It turned out a pretty good race, rather. That race was really good race to watch.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of form going to come out of that race, particularly the top 3.
Yes, exactly.
I think the top 3. So good on you, Eddie, one of our long-time listeners here on Talking Trots, and also a big supporter. He's also out there. He buys plenty of horses and supports the industry.
Certainly does.
With a few different trainers over here in WA and also on the East Coast. But before we introduce our man Oliver Cownie, this segment's brought to you by Bayswater Mazda. Driving is better in a Bayswater Mazda, corner of Guildford and Garrett Roads. And you know how Mort's got to Moore River, of course.
Of course, in the Mazda.
In the Mazda 6 Turbo.
No problems there.
I'm just hoping he took it easy. Didn't go through any speed traps because obviously when you're driving these beautiful cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it could be very dicey, isn't it? The double demerits this week.
It was double demerits over the weekend, but now he's okay. But relaxing with his, and also it's so roomy. He can fit his 5 cartons of Fosters.
Yeah,
and have plenty of room.
Not a good look when
else.
The cops pull you over, though.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Hopefully, he didn't start till he got to more.
Yeah, no, let's hope not.
Anyway,
he's pretty responsible that way.
He certainly is, our man Morts, and thanks to our great sponsors at Bayswater Mazda. And as we welcome in Ollie to the program, no doubt you were cheering for Fat Louie and your mate Eddie Birchall, Ollie.
Absolutely, it was great to see him win. I think Michael Young had some pretty big raps on him early, so to see him finally break through there for his maiden win was really exciting. Sort of listening to Eddie being excited about it for weeks and weeks, it felt like forever that he was waiting to start him, but he was so happy.
I'd like to see the photo when it got headed turning for home.
Yeah, I don't think he was much hope turning for home, was he? And then he just found something and kept kicking.
He did.
Tell you what, when you've got a good horse and a couple of things just go wrong, and then, next thing you know, they're 3-year-olds that haven't had a start, their first start.
Exactly.
But you know what you've got, you just need it to get to the track.
It's got the ability, you've got to be patient. There's no doubt about it.
This game. You certainly do. But good on you, as I said, Eddie and Fat Louie. Now, we got Narrogin on Saturday night. We've also got no Sunday meeting, and we've got Pinjarra Monday, which has 9 races. The first at 12:37. Gloucester Park on Tuesday, 9 races. The first at 5:17. But Narrogin Saturday night, and we've got 8 races. The first at 6:10. And Ollie, we're going to leave Pinjarra Monday to you on Monday on your great show with Tim and Matt. But let's get into Narrogin on Saturday night. What do you got for us at Narrogin?
In the first race at Narrogin, I thought there was a really interesting little maiden here. There's a horse here that was formerly in the Kim Prentice stable, There and Then. This is first up for Chris Plale after a trial. The trial, he was beaten 20 metres, but the horse that won the trial was I'm Lightning Banner, who is quite a nice horse, I think, in the making for Dylan Edgerton Green. And There and Then was right out the back and in some traffic, and mid-race there was a few things happening, but he ended up whipping around them, and he's run 4th, which I actually think will be quite good form for this sort of maiden. So I thought he could be around $4 or $5, and he'd be reasonably hard to beat There and Then, however it plays out early. I thought the main danger would be Rockstar Quality, who was quite good on return last start, but if There and Then can somehow keep the advantage of the draw on that horse, then I thought he'd be really hard to beat. Then in race 5, I thought there's a horse here. It's obviously a massive handicap for Gold Horseshoe of 50 metres, but he's just racing so well at the moment. A few starts ago, he came off a pretty decent handicap at Narrogin, 50 metres, but in that race, the horses off the front row were Dorado and Bonsco Circus, and both of those have gone on to win more races, and they're pretty handy horses, and I don't think the horses on the front here are quite the same quality. So I think the 50-metre handicap will just mean there's a much better price for Gold Horseshoe, and if he can begin smartly, there's nothing between him for 40 metres, so there won't be too much traffic, and over the 2600, I think he can probably just outstay a lot of these horses. So I thought he'd be better than $3. I think it'd be a decent price. And
a very good run against Tar Casino too, Ollie.
Yeah, outstanding. The horse is just going so well at the moment, Gold Horseshoe, and it's only the handicaps that's really getting him beaten in these stands, but I think he's probably meeting a more moderate lineup here. And then in race 7, there's a horse that's second up for Chris Folk, Half Kidding. I thought its run last start was really good. It got back in the race and was on the fence, and it weaved its way off and then was just doing its best work late in the piece. And I think over a bit more ground, it'll be suited. If it can just settle up close enough, I think she can finish really strong. The main danger here looks to be Meteoroid, who might be able to get onto the front, which would make it reasonably hard to beat. But I thought Half Kidding could run over the top with a reasonably good trip, hopefully get some cover. And then in race 8, I thought it'll be really short, but I really did think Better Have Faith was really good last start. Obviously outstanding on debut after galloping early, made up a stack of ground to run 6th, and then last start behind See Me Spy, it was just a sprint home, and Better Have Faith was hanging and doing things wrong and still went really close. And I think this race is a lot more moderate, so could be one for multis, or if it's $1.50, I think that's a reasonably good price for Better Have Faith. I think it should be winning this race.
And hung in at the psychological moment, didn't it? At
it did, yeah. It didn't want to run past, but I think this time it can probably do a few things wrong and still be too good for them.
Very good.
Might be the banker for other races. Now, that's Narrogin on Saturday night. Have you got one for at Albion Park for us on Saturday night?
Yeah, I do. There's one on Saturday night in race 4, Artie's Flash. He's a really smart 4-year-old. He went down to Menangle for the lead-up race to the Chariots, and he drew poorly and got back and just was never in the race. Last start, he crossed them from a middle gate. He crossed Speak the Truth and then handed back over to that horse. And in the end, he was only beaten 1 metre by Speak the Truth in a pretty slick last half. And obviously, Speak the Truth ran 3rd in the Miracle Mile. So that's pretty good form. And he probably meets a bit more moderate a lineup here. And he's got pretty good gate speed. So I thought he could get on the front, and then he has pretty good options from there, lots of options from there, and it'll be really hard to beat. I think anything above even money, and he's a pretty good price, Artie's Flash.
He's also got Leader Peter on as well.
He does, yeah. He's always very hard to beat on a Saturday night.
Yeah, only knows one way to go, P. McMullen.
Yeah. He's been handing over a bit recently, which is a
the
bit
sprint lane
unusual.
there helps, doesn't it, for that option?
It does, yeah. He's very high speed, this horse, so I think he has, on a few occasions, taken a trail, which I don't think would be a bad option either. He's got, a low 26 in him, which, is really, really fast.
What's the update, Albion Park, while we got you there? Do you know anything about the latest there with the...
The latest news seems to be that they'll be staying at Albion Park.
Yeah. Good news.
It was too expensive by the sounds to build a new complex and things, and they might just have to do up Albion Park.
It's a great location.
That's the latest I've heard.
Yeah, I know that they wanted it. They want to stay, but obviously they mightn't have had a choice with the Olympic. But that report came out and has changed everything.
The cost of doing everything.
It's just changed everything, even the Gabba upgrade. So at this stage, they're going to stay at Albion Park, but obviously it needs a lot of work because
it certainly does. Yeah,
they've got one grandstand and then nothing.
Yep.
So
the grandstand's about 250 metres away from the finishing line. So when you're there, you actually don't know who's won.
No, it needs updating in that way, but the location's fantastic for harness racing.
No, it sure is. All right. Ollie, thanks for your time. Back on Monday morning on Off and Pacing with Tim Walker's back in the saddle with Matty Young, and no doubt you'll preview all the meetings at Pinjarra and Gloucester Park on Monday and Tuesday.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Good on you, Ollie. Thank you.
There we go. Ollie doing a great job.
Certainly is.
Can find some winners.
Yep, he's devoted and he knows what he's talking about.
He sure does. Great to have him on. All right. Mate, thanks for filling in.
Not a worry. We've got Junior on the Gloucester Park
preview tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. And tomorrow night, tune into the Parade Ring, Trots WA. Tim Walker's back and fighting fit. So it'll be worth tuning in to find very significant information coming out of that Parade Ring.
Yeah, always a great listen, 8 o'clock on Tab Radio with yourself, Matt and Trent.
Yep.
And Tim, making sure that he keeps you all in line, which is hard to do sometimes.
It can be difficult.
Can be very difficult, but great viewing and great listening, and also the best mail going around. So make sure you tune in, and tell you what, it's going to be a great couple of weeks coming up. We've had a couple of great meetings, and then Governor's Cup.
That's right. There's a couple of big functions leading into the Nullarbor, isn't there, during that week?
Yep, got a big barrier draw, which we'll broadcast live on Facebook again.
Yep.
Obviously, they have a big launch with the
Trilogy.
3 codes.
Yep.
But the best thing, I think, this year is the dogs on Thursday.
Yeah.
Then into the trots. Then
That's the Tuesday, Wednesday, is it? The
barrier draws on Tuesday.
Tuesday?
All three.
At Gloucester Park.
We're at Gloucester Park at lunchtime, and the quokka will be morning again, the breakfast.
Right.
And then Thursday, the dogs with the Sand Groper. We're Friday night, and obviously the quokka on the Saturday. I think all the dogs are locked in. The 8 dogs are locked in.
Yeah, right.
We've still got 4, and there's probably still about 4 for the quokka. So,
big announcements this week, you'd imagine, coming up.
No doubt, intriguing. Obviously, this week's going to play a big part. The Governor's Cup goes to Prentice, Bond Hall, and also Swandu.
It'll be interesting to see if there's anything left field, but we're sort of thinking probably not.
I just don't know at this stage. I know there is one Victorian or Eastern State horse that is desperate to come over. I just don't think there's a slot.
Oh, okay. You can't give a name?
No.
It's a little bit, okay.
But it's just there's no slots. Particularly if they go for their own.
Yes, that's right. Exactly.
And then if you throw in like Penny Tiger, Steno, there's a couple just on the periphery that
Tenzik, Broming, Ideal Agent, Diego. Look, the list is there's a heap of them.
That only the 10 go into the race, and then the Fremantle Cup the week after. It's going to be a completely different race.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
This is why it's genius, really, putting the Fremantle Cup after the Nullarbor. Great decision.
Yeah.
It's worked out well, and it's enticing the Eastern States visitors.
Yeah, well, catch a wave, Hot and Treacherous, Spirit of St. Louis.
They've got a double chance of earning, and we might even see Spirit of St. Louis, 1 or 2 of those going around free for all the week before the Nullarbor.
Yep.
Which would be another great thing.
Well, that's right. Yeah, exactly. That free-for-all catch a wave definitely go around. But Spirit of St. Louis went around the week before.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Wasn't great, and then but needed the run.
Topped him
great.
off. Yep.
And then, and obviously, we've got Hot and Treacherous, who I'd imagine Grimmo will just keep the same preparation.
Been building Hot and Treacherous, an interesting runner.
Well, no doubt Andy will be on one of the shows leading in either the breakfast show or our show.
Yep.
Leading into
you might be able to get
week.
him next week or so.
Yeah, next week. All right.
Okay, mate.
Silky, thanks for your time.
All good. Thank you very much
tomorrow.
indeed.
We'll listen to you tomorrow morning at 8. Thank you for everyone listening. Bray, thanks for pushing the buttons. Until next week, it's bye for now.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.